Hi everybody, this is Alchemist, and I'm back again with another movie review. I had been on Amazon, and I'd been just doing a little bit of research on classic Who, and I came across The Five Doctors. Ooh, woo. And I had never, yeah, special effects, but I had never watched classic Doctor Who before, ever, because I'd only seen the more recent Who. And the first episode I watched was Vampires of Venice, which, by the way, I loved. Um, but I also liked this too because it was just more simpler. It was indicative of the time. It was done in '95, according to the back of the DVD jewel case. Um, uh, I can really compare it to original Trek, which also I'm a huge fan of, because the special effects were really cheesy and kind of not that well done. You could tell that they were they didn't have the technology that they do now that we take for granted. But you know the effects really didn't take away anything for me for the quality of the storyline itself and the whole idea of the doctors emerging from different timelines. And I actually saw a comic here on YouTube of all the doctors being gathered together, and I would love, love, love to see this. And I don't know if the writers of the show have taken that into consideration from the fans or not. I'm sure they have. I hope. My fingers are crossed, and I pray to all things Gallifreyan that it happens. Um, I had never been too familiar with the original actors, but I really like Tom Baker. I think that Tom Baker has a very sonorific voice, very mellifluous, and he's the type of person that I could just listen to and feel completely at ease. He just has that quality of voice. It's very serene and symphonic. And I really liked his rendition of the Doctor, particularly the scarf. And I thought, yeah, that's the reason why I like scarves. It's because of him and hats. Um, uh, let's see. I'm not really sure what else to say. Uh, other than I really liked the movie itself. I just thought it was fantastically done. It was magnificent. I liked all the different doctors. Baker was my favorite. I'll admit to that. Not really knowing uh, his portrayal before having seen him in this, I just automatically fell in love with him because I just like his character, and I liked them all equally, honestly. Seeing the original K9 was also a treat for me, even though I've seen the reboot, which a lot of people say, oh, the reboot's a bunch of malarkey, it's tripe, it's crap. Yeah, well, it's like old-fashioned 60s sci-fi uh, sitcom melodrama. But I actually enjoy things like that because I think I'm kind of like the Doctor. I feel like I'm in the wrong timeline, honestly. I don't know why. I just do. Can't really explain the reason being behind it. But I won't go into the plot line of the movie itself, only that the doctors are taken out of their own timeline. You don't figure out who's responsible for that until about three-fourths into the movie itself, and it's really masterfully written and just wonderful as Doctor Who stories go, as far as I'm concerned. Um, I thought that everything was outstanding. The humor, absolutely loved it, and I give it 4 stars. I just adored it, and I give it 2 thumbs way up. I mean, every Whovian, if you're a true Whovian, you have to see this, even if you've seen the original. Watch some of the classics. The classics are classic for a reason, and it's like watching, original Star Trek. And I actually grew up watching TOS when I was a kid, and my mom got me to just love it, and I actually fell out of being a Trekkie mm, around high school when I stopped watching, even though I'd been a huge fan of the series for so long as I can remember. And then I got turned back onto it, and you never really stop being a Trekkie. It just sticks with you the rest of your life. But I'm a Trekkie and a Warzy, and I love Doctor Who. I'm also a fan of Sliders, Stargate, the film, Firefly, and the movie's called Serenity, and I absolutely love it. Uh, I really not sure what else to say that I enjoyed sci-fi other than Cloud Atlas, which I am highly anticipating. Uh, I like to keep my mind engaged, and I like to keep my mind open to possibilities that sci-fi has allowed us to achieve. Because I think without the imagination behind the innovations that we've received from the world of science fiction, we would not have the technology that we have in this day and age. Honest. And I also would like to recommend this particular story to the Whovians out there that are a little bit skeptical about watching the original series, and I think, oh, I don't know, it maybe not so good as the series now, but I'd say it's as good or better, and it's very enjoyable, and all the actors are just they're phenomenal. They truly are, and they do a wonderful job. All of them, every single solitary one of them. I love them all, and I just fell in love with all the companions, and parts of the story were a little bit sorrowful, honestly. It just shows the humanity behind the doctors themselves, and the crux of the tale itself is a cautionary tale about immortality. It's very interesting and intriguing, and it's food for thought, definitely. Um, I'd always wondered myself what life would be like if I had immortality, and I'm getting a glimpse of that now by just watching a lot of my friends die, and you're alone, and it's awful, and you have no hope. There's nothing, and you're helpless, and it's a curse, not a blessing. And I forget which one of the doctors actually says that. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but not too terribly much. Just a teensy one. Um, I really loved it. It was just beautifully done, just magnificent, wondrous, really. And I wasn't bored. I did not find myself um, getting distracted or my attention taken by something else. I felt that the writers that were involved with this particular series, with all 5 doctors, did just a extraordinary job. and I think that they deserve kudos for that because it's really difficult to come up with a series and to have continuity. That's really difficult. That's probably the most challenging thing to do, especially in a serial, and then make it new and fresh and engaging and meet expectations of fans who have been watching the show for years. And I think that with the more recent incarnation, they've done this hundredfold plus ad infinitum to to the infinity to the infinity. um, I'm not really sure what else to say about this particular film other than I highly recommend it to all Whovians, particularly those who have not been initiated with classic Doctor Who or even familiar with it. Uh, I just think it's a very well constructed plot. It's very concise. It follows a logical pattern. Um, it makes sense if you know what's going on within the Who-universe, what's going on and who's who. Sorry for all my Who jokes, but I don't mean to be punny. It just happens. It just my brain just comes up with these in split seconds. But I think that it's really a terrific uh, realm, and it's really stellar, to be honest. And I just love the idea of time travel, and I've never really gotten bored with it. There's so much potential and limitless possibilities, and you never know where you're going to end, and that's the whole adventure of it, and that's what makes it so accessible, I think. And I think that all people want to go on adventures. I think that we all desire to have this ability to do whatever we want and have this talent. Well, I would say talent. The access to go wherever or whenever that we could possibly conceive of, and that really is quite the predicament and the responsibility, I think, and particularly for the doctor. And I'm sorry to wax philosophical on that, but I can't help it. This is one of the things I think about quite a bit. And all these different things are going through my brain. So when I'm having kind of a bad day, I think about that. I think in my mind, my possibilities are endless, and I know that they are. And one day I will meet every last list on my what I call my bucket list. Every last item, they will all be ticked, and I will have completed them way before my golden years, and I will be satisfied before I go back to paradise. But um, sorry to have gone down that pathway. I didn't know I was going to go there, but thank you for bearing with me. But this is one of those series that really makes you think about all different avenues of life and existence, and the idea of physics itself, and just how fascinating it truly is, and how it engages your mind and keeps you imaginative, and it's really something that I will never grow tired of, even when I'm old and gray, and that's why I enjoy it so much, and I don't think that'll ever change.